Good morning, everyone. I can't tell you how happy I am to be back here hosting on CCN. It's been quite a while, but I'm glad to be here today. And we have Malcolm McGough. McGough. And you know what? I even wrote that here and I still said it wrong. So we have Malcolm McGough with the Election Integrity Project California, Inc.
Yes.
Now, if you can explain to us a little bit about that and what that entitles exactly.
Yeah, look, about 7 years ago, a couple of ladies decided to get involved in polling, and they went to some polls during the election, and they thought something's not right here. There were some things happening that they didn't think should be happening. So they started watching the polls, and after that election in, I think 7 years ago, they decided that they would form Election Integrity Project incorporated out of Arizona because it was too difficult to get incorporated out of California. And they made it a for-profit because of the IRS targeting not-for-profit conservative organisations at the time. Since then, we've been incorporated out of California as a 501c3, not-for-profit, and they've been working for 7 years to uncover election fraud here in the state of California, and it's massive. Some will say it isn't big, but it really is, and they've got 7 years of evidence, which is now being used by our council, Landmark Legal and Judicial Watch, to push back at the Secretary of State, back at registrars, and back at individuals, frankly, that are undertaking illegal activities.
And now, talking about illegal activities, now there has been a lot of talk about how rigged elections, are a possibility and are a thing that actually happens. If we're talking about elections, there are some that are coming up for governor here in the state of California. Is that something that you'll be looking into? Did you expect that might be rigged?
Absolutely, we'll be looking into that. We plan to have 13,500 volunteers at the polls during this next election campaign. Now, the problem we've got, of course, here in California is that the playing field is so uneven that it's easy to target 50-50 races and tip the balance in favour of whatever organisation you want to, whatever you're going to take. I'll start again.
No problem.
It's going to. It's easy to tip the balance on the election. If a race is 50-50, you only need a couple of hundred people to undertake election fraud, and that race has gone to the other side. And that's what's happening here in California.
And if I may ask, if might be a broad question, or actually kind of narrowed it down. Now, the Trump administration, would you say, there was a lot of talk about that being rigged. Was that something that, your associate, basically the Integrity Project?
That's a narrative that wants to be pushed by liberal progressives. And I don't talk about Democrats and Republicans. I talk about liberal progressives and Americans, because Democrats love this country just as much as Republicans. They just have a different take on how big the government should be. They have a Alexander Hamilton take on American politics rather than a Jefferson take on American politics. So are we involved in the commission? No. The commission's now been disbanded and it's moved over to the Department of Homeland Security, and they will continue their work. But each president in his first term has had a commission into voter fraud, and none of them have gone anywhere. Why? Because they are seen by the media, and the general public for that matter, as partisan. This time, we're going to blow the lid on California and expose it from the grassroots up.
And now, we were talking about beforehand how California is actually a major kind of, maybe not trendsetter, but there's a big political kind of power that comes from here because of the electoral votes that we're talking about.
And also the money that comes out of California into campaign coffers. Look, California is a very important state. In fact, I coined the phrase, as goes California, so goes America. And if California goes over the spiritual and fiscal cliff, America's not far behind. So it's got to start here. People tell me all the time, I'm leaving California, I've had enough. I tell them, the last time I looked, election fraud and regulation and bad policy doesn't stop at the border.
Yeah, and talking about that, I know that they're talking about deployment, to bring people down to the border, and there's a lot of talk about issues with that. And
we are a sovereign country. Our borders should be closed. We should address immigration issues, broaden the front gate, and close the back door. Do you lock your home at night?
Yes, for the most part. But no, and I agree. I mean, even though we are California, there's a lot of difficulty with these questions, especially right now, political sense. A lot of people, even if you're not necessarily the most political, you kind of have to keep up with everything because you can't just give an opinion and not back it up. So unfortunately right now it is really important that most people do follow politics and that we ask these questions and have these answers, at least, if we're reading online.
Let me tell you how much Californians are following politics. During the election campaign, we had 330,000 volunteers out of California. California won the election for Donald Trump. And you might say, how did that happen? Well, California was given 5 tasks: to ignore California first, and then 5 battleground states to win. And that was Arizona, Pennsylvania, Florida, North Carolina. And when they asked me to do the 5th one, I said, is 4 out of 5 okay? Because they asked me to win Michigan as well. And we won all 5. That was California's strength. So people that tell me that California is a waste of time are just not being realistic. California has a big impact on the nation in terms of politics and in terms of the economy.
Man. And this is definitely a lot of very vital information that we're being provided by Malcolm McGough from the Election Integrity Project, California Inc. And really it's something that I wish we could keep going and get more information because it's vital. Again, politics are a thing that a lot of people like to stay away from, but it's something that is really important that we got to get into so we have all this information.
Absolutely.
And now, if you could actually, sorry to cut you off, but if you could go ahead and let our viewers know where they can go to receive more information or follow you.
Look, we are in a big need for volunteers, community leaders. If you can go to our website, electionintegrityproject.com, and you can sign up as a volunteer and somebody will contact you very shortly thereafter. But I want to just finish with this, if I may. Nothing's going to happen here in California unless we fix election fraud. Now, we've been doing it for 7 years, but there's one thing that you can do that will push the door open for fixing up election fraud here in California, and that's elect a Secretary of State whose role it is to manage election process here in California, and that's Mark Meuser. Mark Meuser, spelled M-E-U-S-E-R. I would strongly recommend you support him because you can elect the best governor in the world, you can elect the best assembly district member, but unless the playing field is fair, nothing's going to change here in California.
Okay, and you've heard it from Malcolm McGough, again from the Election Integrity Project of California, Inc. And basically, you've heard it from him. He did say, again, that website that people can go in.
Yeah, electionintegrityproject.com. So go online. Just to finish, the 2 ladies that started this, they've been keeping this company together for 7 years on their own dime. They don't take a wage. They don't take any incidentals. All of us are volunteers. And we do it because we love this state and we love this country.
Well, thank you very much again. We enjoyed having you here this morning. And thank you for everyone for tuning into CCN. Once again, your host, Frank Seijas. Thank you.